Good morning. How are you? It's Kirsten Liebelt. Good to see you. Welcome. And let's see, what day is it today? Today is Wednesday. Oh, it's so good to see you guys. Did you see the topic? Okay. So I'm really excited to jump on. Let me fix that with, there we go. Have to fix that with TikTok. It's so good to see you guys. So I'm actually just running a little behind. I'm sure that you could tell, but that's okay. I'm going to actually just take my vitamins and talk to you here. So did anybody jump on? Let me know if you were able to jump on last night. We were doing a webinar in a different Facebook group on an air treatment system. Did anybody jump on that? And the reason why I'm asking is because I want to do just a tiny bit of housekeeping at the beginning of this. So last night we were doing this really cool life-changing webinar, and we were having some technical difficulties. And so we were streaming into a group, and if you know what I'm talking about, you do. And if you don't, no big deal. Like, don't worry about it. But I want to speak to the people who do know what I'm talking about. So we were having some technical difficulties, and tonight we're going to do an encore presentation. That's the short conversation. Okay, we're going to do a short encore presentation. We're going to do it inside of a Zoom because Zoom was not letting us stream to the Facebook group. That was our goal. Didn't happen. No big deal. We still did it, but it wasn't as amazing as it needed to be. So if you're somebody who, and this is just housekeeping, and I'm going to jump into my topic. If you are somebody that has COPD, asthma, you've got mold allergies, and you've been really having a hard time with that. Somebody had recently said, as a mold remediation company, they recommend people have air treatment systems in every single room. Like, it's a very serious thing, right? So if you, or if you maybe realize that you had very compromised breathing during, like the shutdown, and if you had a virus or whatever, most all, because I can't say all, most all HEPA filters do not touch viruses. And I don't know if people know that. So this is for people who really just do need some help. I do have a Zoom link that I'll be able to give you for tonight. Today is Wednesday, June 26th. It'll be at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Facebook, you can put Zoom in the comments, and I will get you the Zoom link. Tickety Talk, you always have to jump over to my IG because I cannot send linkaroos to you guys. And then IG, you're like blessed and highly favored because you guys can just slide right into my inbox and grab that. Julie's asking about flooding. You need to refer your aunt who is highly allergic. Please do, Christy. I will get you a Zoom link for tonight. And it'll be a much better experience. I'm just saying, last night was kind of like stink, but that's okay. Like, we just go with the flow, right? God takes care of the rest. The flooding. So I'm in Minnesota for anybody who does not know. And yeah, so about an hour and a half south of us in Mankato, like the dam is already like partially failing, and it's a really big deal. What river is that, honey? Okay. It's a big river down there. And now the St. Paul, the Minnesota River, and now the Mississippi River up here in Minnesota, or up in the cities. I mean, it goes through, but you know what I'm saying? In St. Paul, it is definitely, is it breaching? It's getting high.
Well, it's getting high, but one of the houses in Mankato actually partially has fallen into the...
One of the houses in Mankato has partially fallen into the water. And now in the Mississippi River, also very high, and there's some concerns in St. Paul. So not where I live. Good morning, Brenda. Your mom is concerned with flooding too. Yeah, it's it's so strange, you guys, because the truth is that we had this most amazingly mild and dry winter. Like, I don't know if I could name a year how long ago it was that we had a winter like we had. I mean, like, our hearts were just singing. It was so beautiful from Minnesota. And so we're like, yeah, well, there shouldn't be any, thank you, Brenda. Prayers go to Minnesota. There should have been no flooding this spring, right? We had no snow to melt. But then it rained, and it rained, and it rained. So we are definitely wanting to have a pause on the rain. I think Iowa has actually had it way worse than we have to date. Iowa's got some serious stuff going on. Pray for Iowa. But anyway, okay. So thank you for asking, though. That is so sweet. I love this community. You guys are so nice. Okay. Yeah, I know, Julie. Thank you. You guys are so sweet. All right. We have a topic today. And listen, if this does not connect with you, it's okay. It doesn't have to connect with you. However, my core value, one of my major core values is functioning at a higher level. Why? And that's what I talked about like last night, even in the webinar. Doggone it, come on. If we can function at a higher level so that we can actually feel better during any given day, like if there's something that we have control over, let's take control over it. Like, let's do that. Because it changes whether or not we can make memories with our grandbabies. It changes whether or not we can have enough energy to even like go and do the things that we want to do. Like, let's just pretend you have, I mean, this is a weird analogy, but it just came to my head. Pretend that you have a hobby that you absolutely love, but you know, the hobby people, your friends meet in the evening and you're just so tired and you can't stay awake and whatever it is, like if we don't have a good quality of life, hi Tanya, good morning, good to see you. Then what does it, I'm not going to say what does it matter. That's very dramatic, but like, what if you could just increase the experience of any given moment in your day from the minute you wake up until the minute you go to bed? And then what if you can increase the experience of your sleep? What if you can increase the experience of your mental clarity, the experience of whatever it is you're looking to try to turn back around when it comes to insulin resistance? I mean, you know, last night doing the webinar, one of the main reasons we did the webinar is because there's a direct correlation between poor air quality and insulin resistance. Like, let's just stop this insanity, shall we? So today what I wanted to talk about was, and I'm going to take my vitamins, does insulin resistance affect libido? Okay, talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to take my vitamins because I got on late. And again, if it's not you, that's fine. However, I just want you to think about this for a minute. Sometimes I have to think inside I have to mitigate what's going on inside my brain, what I'm willing to share and not share. Because, you know, you don't want to talk about, you know, you don't want to tell other people's stories. I know somebody who told me that having been married to a type 2, they actually ended up in a situation where there was impotence going on in their universe, and it highly affected their marriage for many, many years. And I just don't think that these are things that people think about or talk about, but it can really affect, you know, those pieces of your life. And that's not something that we should just like, you know, brush under the rug and not pay any attention to. Or on the other side of it, if it's yourself as a female, potentially you're thinking like, well, what's wrong with me? Or this is just what it's like to get old. This is just what it's like to blah, 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 right? It's easy to think that. And because maybe you have a lot of friends that are like, oh yeah, me too, honey, blah, 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 right? Like we have these conversations with people and then we just look for validation because certainly it can't be fixed. Certainly this is the way it goes. Certainly this is just life. And it doesn't have to be. So I just want to be the bearer of really good news. But I'm going to tell you why there's a connection so that you can understand. And then you can have maybe some hope for the future, because what we talk about in our little community is we talk about insulin resistance and we talk about how to turn that back around. Because remember, number one, it is not a terminal diagnosis. I love saying that because that means that we actually do have more control and we can become our own advocates without concern. Like we actually can do this. Just saying. And I talked to a lot of you in my messages, you know, about maybe how you have been like, maybe you have not gotten the answers that you were looking for when you went to the matrix. Maybe you weren't getting the support that you needed. Maybe you were getting false accusations or just dismissiveness, or you're just not being heard. And so I just want you to know that I hear you. And maybe this is the last question you would ever ask somebody, because out of all the other questions that you have of exhaustion, fatigue, and brain fog, and the belly fat, and you're tired of gaining weight and all of those things, like this is the last one you're going to ask the person that maybe isn't being super sympathetic, potentially. And that's not always, for sure. It's not always, but I'm just saying. So let's talk about it. It's just you and I. Nobody else is listening. It's just us. So, but this is why this is happening. And there are answers. I just want you to know there are answers. Like I can say that for sure. All right. Here we go. So my dad died of type 2 diabetes when he was 63 and he was insulin dependent. And I was 30 at the time, and my insulin resistance started much younger than that, much younger. It showed up when I was about 22, 23, gestational diabetic with my first baby. That was the first sign for me. And I really, really was not a very paying attention person at all, like for decades. I didn't do anything until I was in my 40s. And that's when I started with targeted supplements. And then I went on and I did trade out my ingredients, even though I'm Italian. And so that's what I get to teach in the Facebook group. And the Facebook group is Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. And you can get in there, just tell them Kirsten sent you. So if you do not know or understand a little tiny bit about insulin resistance occurs when the body's cells become less responsive to the hormone insulin. And that's a very key word, hormone, which regulates blood sugar levels. And actually what it does, insulin actually, yes, it does, but it prefers sugar to burn. So it like blocks every other fuel in your body because it wants your body to burn sugar. And burning sugar, meaning just food that's turned into sugar. I don't mean it has to be a Snicker bar. I don't mean it has to be pasta. I mean, food gets turned into glucose so that you have energy for your body. Okay. But when you give it way too much energy, that's when your cell becomes resistant. And then the hormone insulin starts to store all that excess energy as fat. That's the issue that gets to be really frustrating, especially for us girls, because we're like, it just must be my metabolism. It must just be my whatever. It must just be, blah, blah, blah. Christy, I didn't realize that insulin resistance significantly negatively affects how you'll enter into menopause. Yes, ma'am. I've recently learned this the hard way as I'm in the full muck of perimenopause. Yeah. And actually the things that I'm going to talk about today to help with libido are the same. You already know, Christy, are the same things that are going to help because this is all hormonal, right? So sex hormones, insulin is a hormone, cortisol is a hormone. This is all hormone. So we have to put on the right lenses to view this, and you can over time turn this back around. All right, let me get going. So as a result, the pancreas produces more insulin to compensate, leading to higher than normal levels of insulin in the blood. So that's your basic conversation. Your body is just so wonderfully made. It is going to keep on working hard to do its job. But when we continually overwhelm it, that's when our cells say no more. Okay. So how is this an impact on libido? So it's a hormonal imbalance. Okay. So sex hormones, insulin resistance can disrupt the balance of sex hormones, testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone. In men, high insulin levels are associated with low testosterone levels. So this person that I was just sharing about, her husband had been impotent for, I think possibly like at the time that I was talking to her, 15 years. Okay. So this is something we don't talk about, but we should. So for about 15 years. And it's because if you have high insulin, it's related to low testosterone. Okay. Which can reduce libido. In women, insulin resistance can lead to conditions like PCOS, which can also lower testosterone because we need testosterone too. And it can affect sexual desire. Okay. Let's see here. So for those in their late 30s and 40s, it's important to make certain your hormones are healthy. Yes. Yes. And it was in my upper 30s where I thought maybe I was just supposed to embrace the Italian path of obesity and type 2 diabetes. Like I thought maybe that was just going to be my trajectory in life, because que sera, it's genetic, right? No. You could be doing stuff way earlier. And now I feel like I used to always talk to people, whatever. I won't go down that route. It starts earlier and earlier and earlier now. And we can see it in the infertility conversations. All right. So that's number one. So it's disrupting insulin resistance. High insulin is disrupting all of the other sex hormones. This is why it's affecting libido and being frustrating for a lot of people. Number two, insulin and sex hormones binding globulin. High insulin levels reduce SHBG, which is the sex hormone binding globulin, a protein that binds to sex hormones. Lower SHBG levels mean more free testosterone, which paradoxically can lead to symptoms like fatigue and reduced libido in both men and women. Isn't that interesting? I mean, there's such a very clear understanding as to how insulin resistance messes us up. Like there are answers for this. And so once we know and have the knowledge that we can turn things around, we can go all in, man. We can go ham and figure it out. The third thing is blood flow. Insulin resistance is linked to poor cardiovascular health. Okay. Reduced blood flow can affect erectile function in men and sexual arousal in women. And then energy levels, fatigue. Insulin resistance can lead to chronic fatigue, making individuals feel too tired for sexual activity. And then psychological factors, which of course, probably we live in our heads more than anything. So the psychological factors are mood and stress. Insulin resistance can be associated with mood disorders. You guys, don't miss out on this kind of stuff. Like, think about this for a second. What if your insulin resistance is literally associated with, I got to be careful with my words, sadness and anxiousness? Like, what if that's true, right? Then don't be so hard on yourself. Don't be like, my life is over. This is terrible. I'm just so sad. I don't know what to do with myself. Make the connection. Allow your brain to make the connection so that you can literally take steps to shift that and to change that around. Because I talk to a lot of women. See, it's all connected. It's all connected. We have two different conversations, us women, us girls. We have two different conversations. We have one coin, and on one side of the coin, we have this conversation about insulin resistance. And then on the other side of the coin, we have the conversation about all the other hormonal disruptions, all the other things. I'm not sleeping. I'm fatigued. My brain fog is out of control. I'm angry. I'm anxious. I'm sad. We have all of those over here. And then over here we have, then there's that insulin resistant thing that, and I go to the matrix and they tell me that my blood sugar levels are fine. So they tell me everything's fine, but I've got this big belly going on and I can't lose weight. And I don't understand why. Like, why can't I lose weight? And nobody is saying, it's the same coin, girls. Insulin resistance is over here. Just jump it over here, will you? It's all together. It's all together because insulin is a hormone. And over here on this side, they're not even doing the right tests. I'm just saying, they're not doing the right tests. So you're living with this and you're thinking to yourself, why can't I lose weight? What is wrong with me? Well, number one, insulin is a hormone. And number two, if your insulin and or your sugars are high, you cannot lose weight. You're stuck. You're stuck. And depending upon how far along you are on that journey will determine a little bit about what it means to right side that ship, to turn it around. Okay? Because it's going to take some time for some people and it's okay. But the time was going to pass anyway. It was going to pass anyway. Thank you so much for the likes. You guys are amazing. I appreciate you so much. Sugar disrupts the gut microbiome, and that's our second brain. Yup. It's where serotonin is made and our happy hormones. I know. And I have a gut product being launched August 7th. I'm so excited. I can't wait to talk to you about it. Okay. So let me just see what else I have. Okay. There are things that you can do. Number one. Okay. So I talk a lot about targeted supplementation, and me, I talk all about the trio, which are the 3 supplements that have the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. If you need testimonies on that, go to IG. There's a pink highlight bubble at the top and you can look through all of them. Okay. Really helpful because you need to hear other people's voices in this. Okay. And most of them are all from this year. Meaning just that they're fresh and recent. And the second thing is that if you're on Facebook, you can always put trio in the comments and I can respond to you. If you're on Tickety Talk, you got to jump over and message me, like just put a heart in my inbox over on IG and I can get you information on that. But I am, and Christy says it works. And Christy, you're just so sweet. So yesterday you were on and you shared your A1C. No, you didn't share your A1C. You shared your fasting insulin. So there are two different things. So your fasting insulin is, because insulin is a hormone, your A1C is talking about your blood sugar levels. You can have high insulin for years and years and years before it ever shows up in your blood glucose. That's frustrating for a lot of people because the conversations that I have with people are, I keep going and they keep telling me everything's fine, everything's fine, everything's fine. And then all of a sudden overnight, oops, you're pre-diabetic. How did that happen? Because you're insulin resistant for a long time. So if you're tracking your fasting insulin, precursor to your blood glucose, that's why she knows the trio works. Because even though maybe there are other results that she hasn't had yet, because it's all coming on the other side of this, the fasting insulin is the precursor. And she said that hers is up. So your fasting insulin has always been normal. No, your blood glucose has always been normal. But yesterday she was talking about your fasting insulin. And correct me if I'm wrong, Christy, your fasting insulin was really high 6 months ago when you started the trio. And now that's the number that has come down the most. And that is such a good sign. That's where you want to go. And then people are able to have their blood glucose levels come down, especially that dawn phenomenon. I get a lot of really good testimonies on that because that's the stinker one, those morning sugars. Fasting insulin was 24, now it's an 8.7. So don't stop, you guys. Don't sabotage yourself and stop. Don't do that. Keep going. Ask yourself, you check your blood pressure. Good job, Cindy. Yes. Good job. Don't sabotage your efforts. Your goal is less than 6. Very good. And she's a nurse, so she knows. I talked to another nurse, Christy. I don't know what it is. I collect nurses. I don't know what that is. I talk to a lot of nurses. So let me help you. Okay, so the trio, those are the 3 supplements that have the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. Perfect. If you are looking to deal with your insulin resistance, that is such an excellent way to start. My contact information is all over the place. It's not hard to find out how to get a hold of me. I have inboxes. I have Messenger. I have, there's one of these devices that you can do this with me on. That number is everywhere. Like I've got lots of ways. You can drop it in Facebook. I'll see it. Oh no, blood glucose. And how do you test insulin? Cindy, you have to get a fasting insulin done by your doctor. You don't test that with your blood because that's a hormone. So that's a really good question though. You occasionally want to dive into a plate of pasta, but you don't. You're welcome, Julie. I'm so glad I saved you today from a plate of pasta. You're so sweet. You're so funny. You sound like you're having a good day, Julie. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, so the other half of this, so we're talking about libido, people. And this is where, Christy was saying, so in your 30s, you should probably be paying attention before things go awry. And I think that's a really, really great conversation to have. Like in my 30s, my insulin resistance was off the charts. My hormones were definitely turning upside down. I didn't know how to attribute things to hormone upset. I didn't know how to do that. And so once I was able to kind of put some pieces together, I started working with adaptogenic herbs. And I don't know if any of you have ever worked with adaptogenic herbs before, but they are a game changer. When done properly, adaptogenic herbs can seriously change your existence because they're herbs that God gave us that help our bodies adapt to stress. So they come in and they support our adrenals that sit on top of our kidneys and regulate our hormones. So do we not want to support the system that actually is going to help does regulate our hormones? The one thing that I was told when I worked with a naturopath for a while was that how I took care of my adrenals was how I was going to go through menopause. And I didn't know anything. I didn't know what an adrenal was. I didn't know symptoms of menopause. All I ever in my head thought was hot flashes. Cindy. So yeah, yes, fasting insulin. She's asking, is there a specific blood test for testing insulin resistance? Fasting insulin. And so like Christy is saying, when she started the trio 6 months ago, her fasting insulin was at 24. And now it's down to an 8.7. So her body's going in the right direction. Okay. And she wants to get it down below a 6. That's fasting insulin. That's not your A1C. You've got blood glucose over here. You have fasting insulin over here. This is a hormone test. This is a blood test. Okay. So she's talking about her fasting insulin. And you can have a high fasting insulin and never know it. Never know it because the doctor never pulled a fasting insulin test. That's the hard piece of the conversation, because people think that they're doing just fine because over here their blood sugar hasn't risen yet. The river has not risen yet. Let's put this into flooding terms for Minnesota. It's like the river hasn't risen yet. It looks like it's normal. It looks like it's fine. For a very long time. Mine was for 20 years. Okay. And then I finally did something about it. You're welcome, Cindy. So that's just how that goes. So back to adaptogenic herbs. So when I started to deal with my brain fog, that's what I started to work with. And I talk to women all the time about the purple packet because that is very helpful for mental clarity, energy, mood, memory, sadness, anxiousness, like all in one, because there are 3 supplements in one little packet. Like I've got them like right here. I keep my purple packet very close to me. I'm just kidding. They're here because I took them at the beginning of the thing. But I do keep this is my dollar store vitamin case. No judging. I hear you judging. No judging. It's even broken right here. But the reason why I do this is because I don't know. You guys, it's just the way that my brain works. I don't know. I've tried pill containers where I separate everything out and blah, blah, blah. And I don't like it. I like this. So everything is in here. I know exactly what everything is. I'm good to go. Obviously that's, it lasts me a long time, all that good stuff. But I've taken the purple packet now for years. And if you do look that up on my site, it's take one in the morning, take one after lunch. Reach out to me if you need more information. But the other thing that they're recommending here for libido is ashwagandha. Who has been using ashwagandha? Has anybody been doing that? Because you're always amazed at how I can talk to you and pick up all your pills out correctly. I know. And what's so funny about that is, don't you know that you can become the person that you never thought you could be? Like, don't limit yourself, because for real, Brenda, you just started. I'm so glad. Are you taking ashwagandha, Christy? I forget. Or have you heard it? You've heard of it. Are you taking it? I don't remember, but I'm going to talk about it here in just a second. So, I was so you guys, I wish that I had I do have a before picture that I can show you, because this girl right here in the white blouse, like, she thought ibuprofen was supplementation. She thought that, the only way to like supplement was taking that, I talk about it, Metabolife. If y'all know about that, in my 30s, we took Metabolife, and that was banned. It was banned, but she had no idea about supplementing. So the fact that Christy just said that is really funny, because I was the least likely person to ever become somebody who was going to change out her foods as an Italian girl, or take supplements, or even know what to do with them. So I find it comical. But anyway, I'm in a completely different place than I was when I started this journey. Praise God. You can teach an older person legal speed. It was legal speed. It was. You just started taking ashwagandha. That is so good, Tanya. That is so good. So I'm going to talk about that for half a minute, because this is the most recent launch that the organics line just did. It's USDA certified organic. And the thing is that when you start taking, I was sharing this with somebody yesterday, because she wanted to know whatever. She wanted some specifications about what she should be taking for certain symptoms that she's having with menopause. And I said, so when they launched the ashwagandha in May, I started taking it because I want to know ashwagandha it's supposed to help with sleep, stress, and mood. Sleep, stress, and mood. You do not take it and it makes you feel tired. That's not what happens. But what happens is instead is that it's working on your internal system. And so therefore your sleep quality goes up. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to see what I think about this. And I want to just see what it makes me feel like, because like I said, I've been taking like the purple packet for years and I already love those adaptogenic herbs. And I already know how those feel inside of my body. I've become a good assessor. And so I start taking it and I'm like, right away, I noticed that over a few days, because I'm taking one in the morning and then I take one before I go to bed. And I'm like, okay, my sleep quality is increasing. So I was taking my magnesium blend and what I call stinky herbs. And the stinky herbs are, it's in my line, and it basically really helps to bring you like into a sleep without making you crazy like melatonin. Okay, so I was doing that. Well, when I started the ashwagandha, I kind of just put away my stinky herbs and I only now do ashwagandha, one in the morning and then one at night, along with my magnesium. And my sleep quality has been amazing. Even when I traveled. So we traveled for 6 days here in June. And during those 6 days, I was in three different hotels and without skipping a beat. Now, I understand that's my own story, right? Because everybody's got to get, my sleep is more under control than it used to be already. I'm just saying that. But there's this sense of well-being that comes with adaptogenic herbs. And if you know, you know. There's a regulation in your system that you don't even realize. It's just like almost God gave us these answers so that we can stay on course. You know what I mean? Like we don't have to be crazy people. And so suffice it to say, that is such a great option. And I know that I already have customers on here that are taking the ashwagandha. And so you're kind of chiming in on that. But if you're a customer of mine and you have not tried the ashwagandha and that's something that you feel like you need help with stress, sleep, or mood, try it. Everything has a 6-month guarantee, people. So there is no risk, right? Try it and see if that doesn't shift something for you. But most specifically, they're saying that ashwagandha is one of the adaptogenic herbs. Let me find it. That can be helpful with libido. And so again, girls, when you turn back your insulin resistance, hold on, ashwagandha. This adaptogen helps reduce stress and anxiety, which can positively affect libido and sexual function. Okay, so that's why ashwagandha can be really helpful. But there are different, let's just assume all the guys have left now. There are different, symptoms that happen when we go through menopause and whatnot. And you kind of hear about them. You hear about, maybe there's dryness or maybe there's discomfort and things like that. And it's just hormonal imbalances is what's going on in your body. And do you know that can actually, I guess maybe I want to tell you, just to let you know, that can turn around and your body can function at a completely different level. You don't have to live that way using, there are all sorts of things on the market that can, help you with certain symptoms and whatever. You don't have to live like that. You can actually take back your body and get your body to function. And the first person that talked about this that I listened to a long, long time ago, and I have her book. I'm trying to think of the name of it because I want to give you the right name. It's up on my shelf, but I don't know if I have it. But anyways, it's Suzanne Summers. And maybe it was Sexy After 50, or I don't remember. But she talks about the fact that you can actually, and I'm not on any HRT. Okay, that's maybe a very important piece of this conversation for anybody who wants to know. I'm not on any HRT. I'm 59. I don't take any meds. No type 2 in sight. Never will. because I know how this happens. I know how this works. I've only used supplementation this entire time, and I've targeted it. I've been very specific in what I take and why, because I wanted to know, like, why would this work for me? Why would I care? Thank you for following, Double Up. And I just wanted to be very mindful, I guess, maybe, because I didn't know anything. So I had to study everything because I didn't know anything going into this. Like, so not a poster child for supplementing or giving up sugar. Sugar addict, big time. So anyway, so my point being that you can actually use adaptogenic herbs and it can help. And again, on Facebook, you can always drop words for me and I will come back. You can drop ashwagandha and I will come back and get you a direct link to the ashwagandha. TikTok, I don't know what to tell you. I just don't. You can, I do know what to tell you. You can go to my face up here. My face will pop up again in the middle. And on my page, I don't think I have a picture of my page. On my page, there's a number attached to this, attached to me. And you can either, message me this way, or you can jump over to IG. And my inbox over there, I can check that a couple times a day and talk to people. And IG, you're already there. You're already there. Look at you. So you can always ask me about that. But I'm just telling you, I want to make sure that, listen, you do not have to ever get anything from me. You don't. You can just listen to some really good information and literally go and grab whatever you need wherever you are. But will you do me a favor and just think about, or just make sure that you're finding things that are third-party tested? Did you know that if it's that you could actually have a bottle of something and one capsule could have only 1/10 of what they say is in there, and one capsule could have 4 times the amount? Like, that's the level of dysregulation. I'm just telling you. So being third-party tested as a company to expose yourself to third-party testing is a really big deal. And you do want to make sure. And then if you're taking all these plants, because ashwagandha would be a plant, right? It's an herb. If you're taking a plant that has been sprayed with glyphosate, yes, glyphosate. Sorry, now I'm saying it and messing myself up. Glyphosate. If you're taking something that's been sprayed with Roundup, because most crops are, and then you're taking it and you're condensing it and you're putting it into a pill, you know what? You're making your liver work way too hard. And your liver literally determines your fat loss. So don't go backwards in your life. Don't go backwards. Choose organic farming. If you're going to go organic in your supplements. Go organic in what they just made into a really little potent pill. Like, it's going to be an explosion inside of your body of goodness, and you don't want that goodness to be tainted by Roundup. Does that make sense? Like, don't do that. Then you'll really need the liver support. Yes, you will. That's why people will say, do you stop taking the trio? No, I don't. Now, do I take as much of the glucose product as I used to? I don't. I only take 2 a day because I'm really not spiking my sugars hardly ever. I don't take carb blocker anymore either because I don't need to, just because I've transitioned my foods. It took me a few years to figure it out, but I did. So now I don't need to. I don't take the joint supplement either anymore because I don't need to. So those types of things, mitigating symptoms, I don't have to do that, but I do want my internal engine running. So, okay, I'm going to leave you with a couple of testimonies here because I actually remember to take a couple pictures because otherwise they're all on IG in the pink highlight bubble at the top of the page. So this one is really super recent. I got this on June 17th. What is the date today? The 26th. I got this only a handful of days ago. 9 days ago. This is about the trio now. Okay, so I'm switching from the ashwagandha back to the trio. The ashwagandha, if that's something you need to add to your order or you need to ask me information about it, Joanne, there is a little bit of caffeine in there's green tea in one of the supplements inside of the purple packet. However, I will tell you, I have had somebody who is very, very caffeine sensitive, who was very concerned about that. And she now takes that product. She's able to do that. So just know that there's a difference between a green tea extract and just a cheaper source of caffeine put into something to try to get you. They're using it as a carrier to get the adaptogenic herb into your bloodstream, into your system. I'm just telling you. And you know what? If it's a problem, 6-month guarantee. But if you're like super, hey, movie mama, thank you for all the likes. You're just making my day. If you are like, you just know for sure that's going to wig you out, then you know what? I totally understand for sure. Okay, so Diane, what do I take for insulin resistance? This is what I'm going to tell you right now. Good timing for that question. So I started about 10 years ago taking supplements that would help me to mitigate higher sugars and higher insulin, and to help my body function from the inside out. And so there are 3 supplements that have 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. And I've just been talking about it for a really long time now. So you're so welcome. And I wanted to read you a couple of testimonies. These are actually all over on my IG. And there's a pink highlight bubble at the very top of my page. And you could just sit and you could just rifle through them. And you could see them for yourself. Okay. And you could even find out how to order. You could find out, register with your name, by the way. Register with your name so that you can check the box for the perks, so you can get points for your products. Because listen, if you're going to buy supplements anyway, if you're going to invest your money into supplements anyway, why not get cash off of future orders? And if that's not being offered to you by, Amazon or other places or GNC, then maybe this is a better way to go for, trading out your supplements. I'm just saying, like, get the perks. Don't miss out on the perks. I don't want people to miss out. Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad. This is great advice. Okay. So one of the testimonies is this, however many days, on June 17th, and she started the trio. Hold on. Okay. I got it on the 24th. She started it on June 10th. Now, this is not for everybody, you guys. I know I give you these testimonies, but I want you to have hope. This is not everybody's testimony. I'm just going to give you the God's honest truth. But I do get kind of a lot of them, and that's why you can go to IG and see for yourself. But depending upon where you are in your own journey, you have to be able to rightly assess your own journey. And you can't out-supplement, eating at McDonald's all day long, okay? But this is what happened for her. So she ordered on the 10th of June. She texts me on the 24th of June, and she says, "Good morning, sweet Kirsten. I've been on vacation and I came home to a sweet surprise." I sent her something. Thank you. Okay, whatever. I gave her samples. "I can't wait to try them. Very thoughtful. Okay. I'm loving the supplements. 10 pounds down. Thank you for your loving support." 10 pounds down, you guys, in the month of June. And she went on vacation. Now, I don't know how she ate on vacation. I'm sure she did well. So where do you get the trio in the purple packet? So Jennifer, you can do a couple of different things. Yeah, you are very sensitive, but you will give it a try with 6-month guarantee. Okay, Joanne, that's really good. Yeah. And let me know, because I need the testimonies. I need to know how it affected you. And maybe you just do one in the morning and then not a second one, and just give yourself time to assess. So you can do a couple of different things. You can either message me because you're on Instagram and you can get right into my inbox. Or if you're somebody who just goes on and orders and you're just like, you know what, I just do my thing. My site is actually at the top of my Instagram page. It's right there. It's my first last name.com. And on the third button, you'll see list. And that list right at the top is the trio. They're actually all in a cart. They're already in a cart. And then right under it, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm visualizing properly, right under it. No. See, now I want to look it up. The purple packet is on my site also. Doggone it. I just looked at it last night because I was talking to somebody about it. I just wonder, because I recently redid some of my buttons. That's the only reason why I'm questioning. Movie Mama, you're freaking amazing. Thank you. She's just tapping on my screen. You're so sweet. I just love you. Thank you. And then Brenda's asking the difference. Let me look on your page. Thank you, Christy. Thank you. I forget where it is. Anyway, but they're both on there. And all you're going to need to do is literally, you just put things into a cart. You go to the top of the page where there's a person icon. Click on that icon and it'll say register as a customer. Register with your name. I will see you. I will be able to know that you are going to get points for your products. I can send you a thank you card. I can send you a keychain. I got stuff. I got stuff. And then I can, find out how you're doing. Okay. And what is the difference? There is a difference. Okay. The trio, I'll show them to you in pill form because that's how I have them right now. The trio are 3 supplements. And I like to show size so that people aren't confused about size. These are not huge horse pills. To be really honest, the joint product, the joint health, they're large, but they work amazingly well. Those are they're so good, but they're large. These are not large. So this is the trio, 3 separate supplements. They're not sold in a bundle, but they are in a cart. They're all in one cart on my site. I did that so that everybody could see everything. I wanted everything to be as streamlined and easy as possible because a confused mind does nothing. And if I make life confusing for you and you don't do anything, then you don't get any help. And I don't like that. That's not okay. All right. So this is the trio. This is for insulin resistance. This is what helps to go from insulin resistant to insulin sensitive. Each one of them has an ingredient that helps with that process. And this is where I started. You can't see all 3 of them. This is where I started over 10 years ago. Okay. And that's where all the testimonies are coming from. So don't take my word for it. Literally do not take my word for it because I avoided type 2. I'm the only one in my family that did. So I can't give you the data that you're looking for, but my customers can. So if you look at the testimonies on the IG page and you just rifle through them, you'll see people who have been testing their blood, who have been, losing the pounds, who have been, et cetera. And the entire level of support is in a Facebook group. And it's called Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. And every month I do a 5-day challenge in there. And I will help you with your ingredient trade outs. I will help you with your, I'll take you into my pantry and my refrigerator and I'll teach you a recipe. I already know what I'm going to do for the July recipe. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I already know. And we've been doing this for 13 months. So if you have been looking for a track to run on through the lens of insulin resistance so that you can be healthier in your levels and lose weight, because if your insulin and or your sugars are high, you can't lose weight. And you've been wanting somebody that will support you and encourage you and to keep going with you, like to take your hand and run with you. That's what I do. That's what I do. But the testimonies are over here on IG. I'm just telling you. Okay. So the purple packet, I'll tell you about that now. You can't put the screenshot. No, you can't. However, if they go to your IG, the link to your website is there. It is. Oh, you can't. Yep. The link is there to take them to your website. I just don't remember which button the purple packet is in. It's okay. You guys, I made it as simple as I possibly can. So it really isn't hard. I don't mean to confuse you, but the purple packet, this is different. This is actually 3 supplements in 1 packet. Okay. 3 supplements here. I'll open it up. I already took mine for this morning, but I'll take it again after lunch. Not hard, not big. They're not big supplements. Okay. So this is 3 inside of 1. Okay. This one has an adaptogenic herb. So many benefits. So many benefits. This one has an adaptogenic herb. This is all of your 8B vitamins time released. And I don't know if you can see this. Literally, I don't think there's a time released B complex like this on the market. Some of them are, you can see how there's a light green and a dark green. That is because some of them get released right away, and then some of them get released over the next 8 hours. So you're crushing fatigue is what you're doing. And a lot of women don't know that when they are deficient in certain B vitamins, there can be anxiousness and sadness. And I choose those words for a reason. I can make a request for that movie, Mama. I actually can. Interestingly enough, I just spoke with, we had a chance to speak with scientists when we went to headquarters this month. And they have like over, I don't even know, over 500, no, over 800 scientists. We only spoke to 4. But anyway, but those are requests that I can put in. Those are, so I will do that. Thank you for asking that. This herb, yes, y'all need it. I know. Okay, so this is the adaptogenic herb. This is the, I don't know why my lighting on here is weird. All of your 8B vitamins, time released, and that's going to help you to crush fatigue, and it's also going to help you to fill in nutritional deficiencies of any B vitamins. Seriously, you guys, the more you find out about what happens when you're deficient in certain B vitamins, the more exciting you are to fix that. Excited. And then the last one actually has 2 more adaptogenic herbs, and it's for memory. But I'm just telling you, so you have 3 adaptogenic herbs, 8 B vitamins. That's the purple packet. And when I talk to women, listen, if you just want a little bit of energy, a little bit of mental clarity, take it as needed. Just take it once in a while. When you're like, because sometimes, I mean, I started taking it for brain fog because I was working in a medical clinic and I needed to multitask at a higher level. And I kept thinking, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? I don't want people to know I'm having a hard time multitasking. I don't want people to know, like little memory glitches. Like, you don't, because you're in your 40s. What are they going to think? No. That's where I was when I started doing this. However, I eventually found out that the adaptogenic herb, because it wasn't packaged like this at that time, this adaptogenic herb I was starting to take, because when you dose it properly for your hormones, and that's where I end up having people kind of contact me so that I can help you understand this. Super simple answer, but it's hard to explain it online. When you properly dose an adaptogenic herb like this, it can actually help you with balancing your hormones. I did not know this. I knew nothing. Remember, I'm the ibuprofen girl, the banned weight loss med, or the weight loss supplement girl. That's me. So I didn't know this. I was just taking it because I have mental clarity, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So I take it, and I'm like, I take it once a week because I have a doctor that I have to work with on a certain day of the week, and he was a jerk, to say the least. So I made sure that that's the day I was taking it, because that was I would like have stress the night before going in. So I go and I start taking it for that. And I'm like, well, this is working so well, I'm going to take this all the time. So I did. So I started taking it all the time, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I like this sense of well-being and yada, yada, yada. And so all these things. I get to my shoulder surgery. I'm 50 years old. I have rotator cuff surgery because I was in a car accident. And I stopped taking my supplements. So I put my supplements away. And I'm really focused on narcotics because it was super painful. It froze. I didn't know it froze. I'm in physical therapy. And within 90 days, I'm like, this is like, I'm in tears. And they realize it's frozen, and they set me up for a second surgery to fix it, blah, blah, blah. But in the meantime, I start getting warm feelings in my body. And you have to understand, I was, for the entire year prior to this, I had a cycle. Every once in a while, it would skip a month. So I was just barely on the edge. I came out of my surgery. That's so noisy. I came out of the surgery. You guys, I never had another cycle again. This was one of my first wake-up calls to the fact that the Matrix did not know what they were talking about. I'll tell that in just a second. So I stopped taking my supplements. I'm really focused on my narcotics because I'm in a lot of pain. And within about 90 days, I'm like, why am I feeling warm feelings in my body? I've never had a hot flash before. That's never been my experience. I've heard about them. I've heard people explain them, but I've never had one. And there was a connection in my brain that I just say it was God, because I'm not gonna say I wasn't smart enough, because I'm a smart person, right? Like, we're all smart people, but I wasn't aware enough. I wasn't mindful enough to make this connection on my own. And I literally went, oh my gosh, I think that's what was helping me keep my hot flashes away. That must be true. So I immediately start going, because I'm like, heck no, I'm not going to do this. I'm healing over here. I'm doing physical therapy over here. So I immediately start back up on my supplement routine. Never had a hot flash. Never, ever. Now, I can't claim that for anybody. I can't tell everybody that that's how that's going to go. I'm just telling you what happened to me. And now I'm 59, obviously, and I literally have never had a cycle since then. And the interesting point is 6 months after I had my surgery and I went to the doctor, female doctor. This is what ticks me off about the matrix, female doctor. And I'm like, I didn't think I was asking anything weird at all. I was just like, oh my gosh, that's so strange that like my surgery like kicked me into menopause. That's so weird. So I said to her, I go, why do you think that kicked me into menopause? That's so bizarre. Like I haven't had a cycle. And she literally didn't skip a beat. And she goes, oh, there's no connection. And I went, the heck, there's not. I'm living this process right now. And then within about 8 or 9 months, the fat pocket started to really show up. And because your hormones are off kilter. And so therefore your body starts to do different liquefying type things that you're not excited about. And that's when I was like, okay, I need to take this to another level and I need to figure out my ingredient trade outs. I had already been working on my sugars and my insulin. I had already been able to, like with the trio, those 3 supplements that help with insulin sensitivity, I was able to already get those symptoms to simmer down. And those symptoms are like you're hangry, you're exhausted, you've got belly fat going on. I was already turning into the right direction. My sleep was starting to get better. My anxiousness, all of these types of things were already in play. And I was already, my weight had stopped increasing. I'm going in the right direction, all these things. So I thought, I got to take this to another level. That's when I started to trade out my ingredients. And I never thought I would do that because I'm Italian. And so I was a little slow to the game. But once I did, that began the journey that I talk about also a lot on my lives. And just how I gave myself a lot of grace and no shame on that. So hold on. I do have a couple of questions here. Hold on just a second. Is this something that can help with thyroid issues? Sometimes most of these symptoms are just classified as just thyroid, but there is really no further testing to get to a root cause. So I wonder if this would help with somebody with thyroid issues. So Beth, this is what I will say. T4 is actually converted into T3. I think I've got that correct, into active T3 in your liver. So if you listen to somebody like, might be Dr. Eric Berg, I take information from a couple of different people, or it might be Gary Brecka, talking about how we blame the thyroid for something that is actually not to be blamed for. And so we kill off the thyroid all in the name of something that only has 20%. 20% of this issue is actually coming from the thyroid, and a lot of it's coming from the liver. So when you're talking about the trio, when I'm talking about insulin resistance and I'm talking about the trio, this is actually what works, because you want to get your inside system functioning. That's why, oopsie, not that one, this one. That's why, because one of these is actually to help you get your liver functioning. So by default, the answer is yes. But of course, I cannot make claims like that. I can't say that. But I can just tell you that I understand the process. And so that's why. So is it a supplement that this is going to help you with your thyroid? No, that's not. But will it? Probably. Anyway, because you're turning back around your insulin resistance and you're dealing with the one organ in your entire body that governs your hormones, that governs the glucose in your blood, that helps you to use your insulin better, that metabolizes your fat, that, like fill in the blank, fill in the blank, fill in the blank, right? Like it is like the most important organ that you can have, or that you do have. And so anyway, so by default, the second one is you haven't had a cycle since you separated from, oh my stars, Brandy, an abusive marriage at the age of 42. That's really fascinating, Brandy. That is very, very fascinating. You know what? And then that's where I end up having conversations with women in my inbox about cortisol. cortisol as a hormone is a stinker-ola, right? Because that's also keeping us from losing weight, and it's also creating belly fat, and that's very, very frustrating. And so like if you've had high cortisol or trauma or whatever, that's where then you can talk to me about the ashwagandha. Like reach out to me and say, I have been, you're on Facebook, you can just put ashwagandha, but otherwise you can reach out to me and say, I was on your live and you were talking about your ashwagandha, and I need to know more about that. Yep. It's over 30 pounds. Yep. Wow. It is. There are so many factors, and that's why this can get kind of complicated. And even though we try to simplify everything as much as possible, that's why the Facebook group, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. It's why the Facebook group, because there are layers and there are things that other people need. So to give you a blanket conversation, I will give you a starter conversation. Here's your starter conversation. Consider the trio. Okay, let's get your insulin resistance going in the right direction. Now, do you have really high cortisol and you need help with that? Maybe we need to talk about the ashwagandha. Are you just really needing to mitigate, like whether it is brain fog or exhaustion, a couple of other pieces? Maybe we need to be talking about the purple packet. Maybe you have really high inflammation in your body and you're just like, I've got to get this inflammation down faster than slower. Then maybe we need to talk about the turmeric. And so sometimes we're taking supplementation from other locations where it's not even absorbing into our bodies and we don't know that. We just don't even know that because actually turmeric is not very absorbable into your body. But what if there was one that was 45 times more absorbable and mixed with fenugreek, which helps with sugars? So we can layer your universe a little more targeted so that you're not just throwing spaghetti at the wall, seeing what's going to stick because you saw a Facebook ad or an Amazon find, or your girlfriend down the street who's not even insulin resistant is taking something that has, whatever, sugar in it, or I'm just making it up, a liquid multivitamin that has sugar in it. I don't know. I'm just making it up, but I'm just saying, like, target for yourself, take yourself and assess yourself by, one step at a time, because everybody's going to be different in what they need. And so when I show people this, I know it really freaks people out, so to speak, because they're just like, how can you even know what you're taking? Blah, 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 blah. I have very much gone, what do I need to target? What do I need to target? Ashwagandha, stress for me, and definitely 30 pounds overweight and along thyroid symptoms. So Beth, are you saying that you want help with like insulin resistance and cortisol? Is that what you're saying? Because I can send you both. I can put the trio with the ashwagandha into one cart for you and send you that cart so that you can get rid of all the other noise. I'll give you a cart for yourself that is specific, and that can very much help you. Especially if you think that you're insulin resistant, that's the frustration of not knowing that insulin is a hormone, not knowing. Yes. Okay, Beth, I'll send you a cart. Oh, you're probably already jumped off already because I didn't look. Hi. Good to see you. You said you were going to be on for a minute. So the trio are 3 supplements that have 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity. And since you are on Instagram, you have the benefit that TikTok and Facebook don't have. And that is that if you go to my page when you're off of the live, or you can go now, whatever, at the very top of the page, there's a pink highlight bubble. And it will explain to you, it'll give you testimonies. And most all of them are from this year. They're fresh testimonies. They are 3 supplements that help with insulin sensitivity, and they're all in one cart. And this is something I started over about 10 years ago. And you literally can 100% become your own advocate, take back your own body. If you feel like you have been given poor information, misinformation, you've been dismissed, when you've been asking questions, you just don't understand why it is that you can't lose weight or you're gaining weight. And all of a sudden it's dawning on you that maybe it's because you are insulin resistant and your insulin and sugars are high and you can't lose weight because of that, because that's how you're stuck. And nobody's talking about that. It's why you're stuck, and it's frustrating. So if you think that's the case, then that's where to start, is the trio. It's the place to start. It's not necessarily the place to stop if you need to layer things. That's why I just make myself available, because now I'm going to get off and I'm going to give Beth, I'm going to go create a cart for Beth. It's going to have the trio and the ashwagandha in it. And I'm going to send that to Beth and she can look at everything all in one clean, streamlined place. And then if she wants to go on and become a customer, I can tell her how to do that super easily. Register with her name, blah, blah, blah. Get points for your products, cash off of future orders. You can't find the purple packet. Tell us again what's in the packet. Okay, let me think about this. You know what? I'm going to try this. Hold on just a second. Hold on. If you can't see me on Facebook now, let me know. Let me know. I'm going to my website. Hold on just a second. I'm going to tell you the buttons. The buttons are numbered for you, okay? So right now I'm going to tell you. It is right there. Okay. So third button. You'll see where it says trio and purple packet. Third button on my site, firstlastname.com, kirstenliebelt.com. Third button. Okay. Number 1 on that list is the trio. All 3 supplements in one cart. Underneath it, it's the purple packet. So in my brain, I was right. I just didn't know I was right. So it's all in one area. Okay. And I'll show you what's inside of it right now. Facebook, let me know if that actually cut out my webcam when I just did that. I would love to know if somebody could tell me, because it changes the way that I can do lives. That makes me happy. So inside of the purple packet, this is where you're getting 3 adaptogenic herbs and all 8 of your B vitamins. Okay. And if you want to just take it for energy and mental clarity, just take it as needed. Like, you're going to go to work, you need a little extra oomph, little extra clarity to actually get through your morning or your day. Perfect. If you're trying to navigate hormones, if you're trying to really get those adaptogenic herbs to support your adrenals, I highly recommend. I was still here the whole time, Joanne. Oh my gosh. I think I just fixed something for myself. Thank you, Joanne, for telling me. I love it when I figure things out like that, or whatever. If you're trying to navigate hormones, there are 2 things that I would say. First of all, think in terms of taking 1 purple packet in the morning and 1 purple packet after lunch. Okay. The reason why I say that is because I don't want it to mess with your sleep. Okay. No sleep messing. But I will tell you, again, let's go back to the beginning of this conversation. Is insulin resistance messing with your libido? Okay. Adaptogenic herbs help your body adapt to stress. They support your adrenals, which sit on top of your kidneys and regulate your hormones. When your ovary function is no longer, or it's diminishing, your adrenals take over. You want to kiss your adrenals. You want to love your adrenals because they're helping you to regulate your cortisol and your insulin and your sex hormones. So if you're doing the purple packet because you want help with supporting your adrenals, take 1 in the morning and take 1 after lunch. There is a way to boost this further. Okay. So if you take the purple packet twice a day and you're like, I can tell that this is helping, but I do want to know about how to boost it a little bit, will you reach out to me? And the only reason I do it that way is because it's in my stories, I kind of talk about it, but I've learned how to, through the research that I've done, I have a third-party resource that tells me how to dose this so that I could actually up it a little bit and take an extra adaptogenic herb. And through that process, what I've been able to do is really make a dent in how my hormones were functioning. So much so that not only have I been able to not think I'm crazy anymore, have mental clarity, have good things like that, but I've also been able to never have a hot flash. And over time, I would just say, how do I say this? I've never experienced a lot of things that other women have experienced. because I've been able to keep my body functioning. I didn't know I was doing it. It's like God was really nice to me and helped me to figure out how to take adaptogenic herbs. It's not because I was smart, but I just haven't dealt with a lot of other things that other women have dealt with when it comes to, like symptoms, that we go through when it comes to like libido and stuff like that. Like there, and if I have, like, I've been able to edge it back again. If there's dryness or people have discomfort and stuff like that, you can actually shift things. And I didn't know that until I started working with adaptogenic herbs. I hope that helps to answer that question. What's the difference between the purple packet and the mineral vitamins, the multivitamins? Oh, completely different. That's such a great question. Thank you for asking. First, I'm going to answer the ashwagandha because that's a fast one. The ashwagandha, I take one in the morning and I take one at night. It will not make you feel sleepy, but it will help the system that helps you to sleep. Over time, it's helping you with sleep, stress, mood. Okay, so the difference between the multivitamin, are you talking about the women's daily, the women's pack, or the one that has all three in like one case, the multivitamin, multimineral, and the phytonutrient? You are welcome. Tell me that one. I would love to know. And I think what she's asking is the multivitamin, meaning that there's 3 in 1. Let me just show you this. This is where people don't even know that they have nutritional deficiencies. Okay, nutritional deficiencies come from a couple of different areas. One is they come from the soil. The micronutrients that are in our foods today is about 50% level as to what they were like 50 years ago. Like we're only half. And it's just because our soil has been overused. There's even biblical reasons why God would tell them to rest their soil every 7 years. Like, and then or to rotate your crops or to whatever. I mean, like there are reasons because, you need the earth to replenish all of the nutrients, the minerals, etc. But we're really bad at that now. Now we're like way over on the other side where we don't do a lot of stuff. Okay. So we have a lot of, like just nutritional deficiencies in general. We also have nutritional deficiencies because we eat out of season. Now we eat whatever we want, whenever we want, however we want. And we don't even think about that. That's just a reality in our food supply. Like if I'm eating, fresh berries in January and I live in Minnesota, which I do, chances are that they were picked barely ripe. They were ripe off the vine and then I got them. And that's why they have like almost no flavor. They're really bad. Like if I go over to my daughter's right now and pick raspberries off of her little 5-acre farm, they're going to taste so amazing. And the nutritional value is going to be super high. So when I talk about the multivitamin, make sure I'm not missing this. The multivitamin, this has 3 also. So isn't this interesting? We're going to talk about 3s today. The trio are 3 separate supplements that help with insulin resistance. 3 separate supplements, but they're all in one cart. The purple packet is one packet that has 3 supplements inside. Trio for insulin resistance to help you with insulin, sugars, so that you can lose weight. Purple packet, adaptogenic herbs, B vitamins. Mind, mood, memory, fatigue, sadness, anxiousness, things that work, something that works. They both work over time because you're working on your internal systems. So the trio is working on your internal system. This is working on that's working on your system that's going to help you with insulin and sugars. This is helping you to work on your adrenals. Okay. And then the last one is the multivitamin. I think she's asking about the one that has 3 in 1. So there's a case and there's 3 of them. One is a vitamin. And I'll tell you a story about this here in just a second. One is a mineral, all your minerals, and one is plants. Okay. Off of organic farms. So they're not sprayed with Roundup and then put into a tiny potent pill. Okay, so that one, the story about that is, again, I feel like we don't understand the connection between nutritional deficiencies and what's happening then in our bodies when it comes to insulin resistance. And so a friend of mine, his dad had a really hard time getting his sugars under control for over 10 years. And he started to take this. You take 3 of these 3, you take them twice a day, once in the morning and once in the afternoon. And that is actually on my site also. And I can look that up. Anyway, I think that's on button 4. Hold on, I'm going to look for that for you guys. And so he started taking this twice a day, not even thinking that it was going to do anything for his sugars. That wasn't even on his radar. Not at all. So if you go to, and so what happened though, go to button number 5 where it says daily. Button number 5. Not only did his A1C come into check after 4 months of doing this twice a day, his A1C came into check doing this twice a day for the first time in over 10 years. He had no idea that was just like me. I'm supplementing, not even understanding how this is going to help me in many ways. But he went on to lose over 50 pounds. Why? Why did that happen? Because when your insulin or your sugars are high, you can't lose weight. It's the one conversation that most people are not having. The conversation that they're having is counting points. It's all about balance, calorie deficit only, work out in the gym till your face falls off or your butt, whatever, Those are the conversations that we're having, but it's a hormonal conversation. Obesity is a hormonal conversation because insulin is a hormone. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So I hope I answered that. I'm sure that I did. But if you have any other questions, always let me know. Like I said, a confused mind does nothing. And I can do the best that I can do to explain things and to try to break this down for you. And I'm so glad that I am. But if you leave and you have confusion and you don't do anything because you're confused, because a confused mind does nothing, then you have not benefited yourself. You have not started a journey that you could have started and been in a completely different place by the end of the year or a year from now. Like Christy said, her fasting insulin has gone from a 24 down to an 8.7 in 6 months. That's using the trio. The testimonies are people, it was the 10-pound weight loss that just happened this month in June. She ordered it on the 10th of June. She got started it right away. She's 10 pounds down. It's the 24th. It doesn't help you if you're confused. So that's why I put my contact information. Kristen, hi, good to see you. Thank you for your hearts. I put my contact information as much as I possibly can. You can always put things in the comments on Facebook. You can put ashwagandha. You can put trio. You can put whatever you want on Facebook. You can ask me questions. It stays there after the live is done. And I can come back. And that's both on my business Facebook and my personal Facebook. On Instagram and TikTok, you guys have to actually get into a message. You have to get into an inbox. Kristen, I'm so appreciative of you. Where do you live, Kristen? We need to be best friends. She just says she loves listening to me. You're just so sweet. And I love your pink hearts when they show up. It makes my heart happy. And I'm not even kidding. You'll notice on a lot of my social media stuff or messages, I use a lot of pink hearts too. Flurry and Kenji, you have a pink heart too. I love that. Anyway, but my point being that reach out. Don't allow yourself, when we stop ourselves from getting the answers that we maybe were stirred to get in the moment, oftentimes it's literally just self-sabotage. We're keeping ourselves from getting the answer for whatever reason. Sometimes I just did whatever. I just talked about this recently. Self-sabotage is a real thing. And maybe I need to talk about that a little bit more sometimes. Thumbs up on Instagram. But you not getting the information that you need, this is a very basic conversation. This is not rocket science, and it's not a major commitment of any kind. The trio is it's under $100. This is not a lifelong commitment of anything that's, horrific. I happen to know that injections are $1,200. That's a little bigger commitment. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes we stop ourselves from something simplistic just because maybe we either don't think that we're worthy Or maybe we think that, you know what, what's it going to matter anyway? You've never taken it seriously before. Maybe, who do you think you are? Like, you're finally going to figure this out. No, you're not. All that negative thinking, all that bad stuff that's in our brains, and it keeps us from getting the information we need. So don't do that. Choose today that you're not going to have self-sabotage today. If you have been thinking, I do want to find out more about the trio. I do want to find out more about the purple packet. I do want to find out more about ashwagandha, or whatever it is that we talked about, or something you saw on my site or whatever, and you do want to go into another direction. Your summer can be completely different than what you were thinking it was going to be before you got on live today, before you got online and you saw me in your feed today. It's just a choice. And then get into the Facebook group. Ditch insulin resistance for women. And when you look at my site, scroll down, you'll see a Facebook blue button. Jump in, tell them Kirsten sent you. And you can get your trio, you can have it in hand. And on July 8th, Monday, July 8th, I'm going to start another 5-day challenge, because that's what we do. You would love to hang out. New Jersey. Kristen, you're too far from me. You're too far. Well, that's not, relatively speaking, right? And in the group, then you're going to be able to find encouragement and support and like applicable things that you could like put into practice right away. I'll show you my pantry and my fridge. Like, my life is a little bit of an open book in this way, because I want people to like get the actual help. I so badly want people to hear the sentence that this is not a terminal diagnosis, and that you actually can turn this around for yourself. I'll give you a track to run on. I'll give you all of the support that you could possibly want. When you get into the group, you'll be tagged in a free recipe pantry PDF. Like, I'll do everything that I can to set you up for success. And I'll base it all on where I started. I'll tell you all about my journey, and I'll give you as many testimonies as I can possibly gather. If you have been on the trio and you have a testimony, send it to me. If you have been on the purple packet and you have a testimony, send it to me. If you have been on the ashwagandha and you have a testimony, the turmeric, send them to me. I will collect them and share with other people, because it's so frustrating that we go and the only answers that we get are scripts and more scripts or higher doses. It's not okay. We don't have to live in this swirl anymore. We don't have to do that anymore. Anyway, so that's what I got for you today, people. Thanks for hanging out. You guys are like amazing. And again, if you have any questions, let me know. And if you did not hear the beginning of this, you can either see the replay on Facebook or IG once I get done posting it. Because the beginning, I really talked a lot about insulin resistance and the connection to low libido. And if it's not you, maybe it's somebody that you know, and you can stop questioning why there is potentially a connection between. It can give people hope, because just think about it. If you can turn back your insulin resistance, you can all of a sudden feel your body functioning at a different level. And it's men and women, because it's affecting testosterone levels. So I always tell people, get your hopes up. Get your hopes up. Like, if you haven't heard anybody talk like this before to tell you that this can be turned around naturally, and I can't make claims, but I can give you testimonies and I can give you hope. If you've never heard that before, well, there you go. Today's your day. You just heard it. And it's happening all the time. So, all right. Everybody good? Everybody good? Are we all ready to go take on the day? I'll be back again tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, 10-ish. Sometimes I'm behind. 10-ish Central Standard Time. And reach out to me if you have any questions. And get in the Facebook group. I can't wait to see you in there. And have a super amazing, wonderful day. Thank you for praying for Minnesota and all of our flooding. I appreciate that. You guys are incredibly kind to jump on and ask about that, and to make sure that we are not perishing up here in the north. So I appreciate that. You're so welcome, Christy. Thanks as always. Have a blessed day. You too. All right. Happy day. Happy Wednesday. Go win the day. Win the day. You too, Kristen. Love you guys. See you later. All right. Let's see if I can do TikTok. Sometimes I have a hard time with the thing. There we go. All right. See you later. You have to be able to push the buttons. Okay. Facebook, as always, remember, you can put anything into the comments. You are the people. And if you need a cart that has a specific configuration, just let me know and I'll put it and I will let you know. So Beth, I will send you your cart when I jump off. Have a good day, you guys. And you're welcome, Beth. I'm so glad it was informative. I'm so glad.